Furia were able to shut down Aspas and actually take a map off of the kings of Brazilian Valorant. Now, I know what you're thinking. They didn't play Lotus. How in the world did this happen? And yeah, they actually didn't pick Lotus. It was not banned, but they picked Ascent over Lotus. And to be honest, a lot of people in my stream chat, I co-stream every single VCT Americas game, come watch, thought they were brain dead for that, me included. After all, Lotus is their best and honestly only good map. So why in the world would they pick Ascent? Well, with a comp change, they showed exactly how dangerous they can be on Ascent, shutting down Aspas and dominating MIBR. So let's go ahead and take a look at how Furia almost beat the kings of Brazilian Valorant and did on Ascent. On their bonus round, MIBR decide to have Aspas and Verno kind of take this aggressive B main space, but Heat on the Vice, he has this really interesting wall that kind of forces Aspas into the space. Now, what I really kind of don't like about this from Furia is that they don't have 2 or 3 people here once the wall gets tripped coming over to actually fight this. Now, don't get me wrong, Havoc does, but way later. I would have liked for some people to be closer to around there so that they could have punished off the wall. However, Aspas does the fuse updraft, backs up, gives the space up. However, he still wants to be aggressive here. After all, you know, the GOAT of Valorant, he wants to get a kill and get out here, but unable to do that because 3 people swing him at the same time, as you'll see right here. It's more like 2, but Havoc gets on him. Now, Verno needs to save them, right? Anchoring the site, has to hold it down here. You would need to get 2 before you die. Of course, you're hoping that your Cypher can get something done with the Marshal, but after he can't, again, it's all on Verno here, pretty much, to save them. There's no lurks coming in from Furia, so it is literally just a 5-man hit onto this site, but ends up not really doing too much here. And as you can see, Verno, 1, 2, dead. And now, I mean, honestly, good on Havoc there, right? And then this position was so frustrating for MIBR. They were never able to clear out where he was right there. I don't know what it was, right? You have a Sova. Now, MIBR have a really good read onto this round. The economy for both teams isn't great, but Aspas has an operator. Now, Sheenum here is going to get inserted into Wine, get a beautiful flash, a perfect flash from Artson, peek, whiff a little bit, and then not TP out. The reason for this is they were so full blind, they didn't know he was Wine. So he gets a free first blood, not only just the first blood, but onto the only smokes player on Furia. Now, they're not even playing a Cypher. They can't even use kind of the cages as the pseudo smokes. So they're kind of cooked here. Aspas has an op, but he's in a position where he can get spammed, and you can barely see the long, girthy tip of that operator. So Aspas does get taken to 1 HP, but this is where the round changes. Verno, unable to get that kill on the Heat, and then Sheenum, unable to get the trade, makes it a 4v4. And then Furia realized, wait, we've pulled rotations here. We've seen several people here. Let's go over to the B-bomb site, right? And they do that. They go ahead and scurry over. Obviously, Aspas very low with that operator, but the thing with the smokes is, where are you going to smoke normally, right? You're going to smoke here and here. The only way that that matters is if someone is in that place, right? And Aspas is almost too late to do that. However, if they'd been a bit quicker, it wouldn't have mattered at all. But Aspas gets the kill. For some reason, then Cortesia then smokes off his own operator with that Cypher cage. I had to double check that Furia were not playing a Cypher, because that just doesn't make sense. As you can see, Aspas wanted to keep fighting. He wanted to be shooting at that angle, trying to hold them off the spike. So I don't know why he popped that cage. But 2v2 situation here, and Aspas being so low with that op, it's going to be difficult, right? Your Omen's going to have to do a lot. He's kind of unable to be quite honest with you. Again, Aspas is just holding this line, and he can't do much else with him being so low, and then moves when he gets swung. 2-2. Overall, Furia did a great job of kind of manipulating rotations that round, and then showing that even when they're at a disadvantage, they're able to kind of outthink them right there, to where the smoke situation didn't matter as much as it could have, right? It only led to 1 kill, as opposed to the entire execute being stalled off and stopped. MIBR were very bad at capitalizing off first bloods. You saw it in the last round, but they had 13, and Furia had 9, which was the inverse of how the game score ended. Furia ended up winning 13-9. And when you see that, there's always a reason behind that, right? Artson getting flashed here and insta-traded means the first blood isn't as valuable onto Havoc, right? Now, obviously, you're not able to entry as easily, but when you're able to trade it out in a different position, the first blood is, I don't want to say non-impactful, because obviously it's impactful, but it's not as impactful, obviously, as an actual 5v4 situation. Heat, with a wonderful lurk timing, by the way, gets 1 here, and that just kind of snowballs it, right? Aspas dies, and then the game or round rather, is pretty much just over, to be quite honest with you. Especially once Verno dies here, because then you're like, oh, he's flank. Okay, cool. Well, let's go. Everyone look flank. Not everyone, but like 2 people. You can't really do too much here. So 3-2, Furia, and their attack was beautiful, to be quite honest with you. They did not lose a single round after this. I really don't like putting blames for rounds all on one player. I think that most of the time that's disingenuous. However, when our Sentinel is peeking, why? Why are we peeking? Why? This literally is the closest thing, I think, to a round-losing mistake that you can have, because it sets Furia up to where they get the site for free, no Sentinel utility on there, and now you have to retake with 4 players and an op. I get wanting that information, right? I just don't get why you're having your Sentinel do it. Have Verno peek it, right? I would argue he's probably a better aimer, to be quite honest with you. I think he shoots his gun very well, but again, those heat lurks, I've talked about it before, I'll keep talking about it, they had so much impact, right? Crazy that when you have an actual Sentinel player lurk instead of your initiator that literally gives out homing beacons saying, hi, I am here, whenever he uses his utility, that will work out better. Crazy, bro. But do you know what else is crazy? My PC is terrible, and Hikikimori, my org, are going to get me a free PC if I get 25 uses of code Lions at hikikimori.com. They have some of the best merch in esports. I was wearing it on stream the other night. Incredibly comfortable, incredibly good looking. And again, I've talked about it time and time again. This is merch you can wear outside of your house, which is very rare in esports. So go ahead, pick some up right now. Use code Lions for 20% off. We have pretty much international shipping. So go ahead, get me a free PC and get yourself some beautiful clothing. Anyways, back to the video. This is a round where Aspas dying genuinely lost on the round. There are not many rounds where Aspas dies and completely loses the round. Keep in mind, on Icebox, this guy was 25-5, right? This wasn't an off game, or an off day rather, for Aspas, but they really hard antied him. Here's what I mean. This position mid is beyond important. This is so important because they have no other supporting utility other than that trip. So if Aspas dies and the trip is broken, they could be anywhere. They could be in your spawn. They could be flanking you A. They could be up your market. They could be flanking you all the way around B. So he cannot die in this position. But trip gets broken. Aspas gets killed. And now the biggest issue is look how far MIBR are B main. As you can see, Cortesia is having to turn around because they could be coming market at any moment. Verno is inserted here. So Cortesia just does not feel comfortable on the site because they could be coming at it from literally any of the 3 choke points, behind, market, in front. So this sense of kind of paranoia is so important to instill in your opponents. And Heat's done a great job with some of his lurks. I haven't showed them because some of them were on eco rounds, but I mean, just a beautiful job with his lurks. And now they do come through market. And to be honest, Cypher is kind of screwed here on site. There's not much you can do. Same thing with Omen. It's a 2v4 on site. He just trades his teammates out, and Artzen is put in a 1v2 retake. I mean, again, there are not many times where Aspas makes a kind of genuine round losing mistake, and that wasn't necessarily a mistake, but losing that gunfight did cost them kind of the round. And again, the first blood that instantly get traded out on another side of the map happened here. As you can see, Aspas gets inserted once, says, yeah, I'm better than you, Havoc, so keep that in mind, gets out, but 5-10 seconds later, he just kills Cypher, who again, for some reason, is B main. If you want the information that bad, put a cam there. Do something that isn't putting your body on the line and putting your team in a situation where, again, they have to retake B. They abused this. They were spanking you over and over and over, saying, take it, take it, take it, and you let them. I really do not get why you didn't try and play a bit more passively here. But again, I've talked about this before. Prize is in the spot that they just had trouble clearing for whatever reason. Visol gets popped for stall, and they go ahead, try and get back in, but Prize is going to get one because they weren't able to clear the spot out. I don't know why. It just was an issue for them, as you can see here. Kills Artzen, and now 2v3 situation. Boom. Shinam, sorry, tries his best, but there's no time. Visol was popped for stall earlier. I don't know why Khalil didn't stick this. To be quite honest, there wasn't time anyways. He probably could have gotten some frags there, but it's all good. And Furia are at 9 rounds now. It's MIBR's bonus, and after winning the pistol, they are dominating Furia. Furia looking like on defense, they're going to be the team we all know and love for letting our favorite teams 2-0 them, give us some copium that, hey, they're back, and that our favorite player is unwashed. Not me, of course, just all of you guys. So honestly, it comes down to they're losing a lot of gunfights on site. right? He doesn't feel comfortable. There's going to be a nice paranoia here. He doesn't feel comfortable swinging off of it as far out as he would need to capitalize on the ass pass, and thus dies when they peak together. Rafa has a vintage KO performance. Fun fact, leave in the comments what player got 2 kills on his first game on KO. He was in Americas. He's on Furia right now. I'll give your comment a little heart if you guess correctly. But 5-10, and for a second, it's looking like MIBR might have a comeback. However, Furia are not going to choke this one away that easy. However, Furia are not going to let MIBR stop them. Now, it's looked bleak, right? 8-10, if you lose this round, you're onto another eco, which would tie it up. And I truly believe that if they lost this round, there's a decent chance they lose the game. However, they don't. And it's partly because of trading. Very good trading coming out from Furia. They're not normally good at this. Look at this. Prize gets the kill on Diverno with the ult. Aspas goes over here, kind of whips his knives, I'm not going to lie to you. But look at this. Havoc just comes down and decides, I'm better than you, and does whatever in the world that was. And then the trading comes into play here, where it looks like for a moment they're going to throw a 4v2, right? Disaster. It's over. But then good trades come out right here. Rafa again, 5 and 15, pretty much a walking ult orb with some good flashes though. Do not get me wrong. Great flashes, but wasn't exactly shooting his gun. Thankfully, Prize is able to trade him out. 8-11. And now, time for the play as old as time. Jet, you have knives. Go dash here. We'll flash. We'll Sova dart. And go show them that you are the superior player. And Havoc did that. Again, Havoc, while inconsistent, is so good when he's on form that it's made Furia like him on the duelist role. Again, he's been a bit inconsistent, but stuff like that is why you keep him on duelist and say, hey, maybe we're like that. Right? That's back-to-back rounds that he's pretty much won you with some crazy plays. Now Furia are only 1 round away from beating the Brazilian Kings of Valorant. However, the Odin is still good on Ascent, and not just in your piss low ranks games. It can be useful here as well, and here's what I mean. Prize whips out the Odin for the first time I can remember all game and just mows them down. Again, it's a dumb gun. I'm not even going to argue that, right? Havoc dies. Guess what? You're trading through a wall. The recoil sending shockwaves throughout the atmosphere, as now Cortesia is left in a 1v3 situation against an Odin. He has to pick up Spike here, and best course of action is obviously pick up Spike, fight the Odin on site, then you're in a 2v1, right? You need to isolate fights when you're in these 1vx scenarios, and he knows where the Odin is. However, it's a lot easier said than done because he has to drop on an Odin, and as you can tell here, doesn't really work out. If there's a takeaway you can get from this video, it's that Furia had a actually very good read on what to do, because I am 100% sure MIBR anti-strat their Lotus hard because they expected them to pick it. Instead, they threw a curveball MIBR's way, and MIBR were unable to hit that curveball. So, hope you liked the video. Make sure to use code LIONS at kikimori.com for 20% off your order and support me. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.